Welcome to another episode of Best of America by Horseback. I'm Tom C. with Christian Bisco. On this episode, we're going to take you down to Alabama, a place called Trails, Etc. It's near a town called Eufaula, and you may have seen a scene of that town in Sweet Home, Alabama. It's a family-owned place that you're just going to love.
Dawn and Kent Thomas manage and own the property. Their family has been in this area for over 7 generations. There are over 60 miles of trails on private property here.
The whole community got involved with this, which made it so special for all our guests and riders. We visited historic homes, and we went to a new bed and breakfast that has a barn event facility that everybody had a banquet dinner in, which was a low country boil. It was fantastic.
Trails, Etc. has a great layout for the campground. It's easy access, they've got plenty of parking, they've got hookups and stall panels. They also have an arena to use if people want to work their horses. It's really a great place to come and visit.
The mayor came out and did a welcome to all of our riders. This is the kind of place you'd like to raise your children in. It's just a wonderful community, and it's going to be a wonderful ride. You're going to like this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
On this episode of Best of America by Horseback, we are riding at Trails, Etc. in Midway, Alabama. This family-owned and operated equestrian campground, just 15 minutes from Eufaula, has miles of privately owned riding trails through dense woods, wide open spaces, with plenty of water crossings, all sandy enough for barefoot horses. They have plenty of parking and can accommodate large horse trailers. They have trailer and RV electric hookups and primitive camping areas, outdoor Priefert panel stalls, and a few paddocks for multiple horses. You can also bring your own pens or high lines. Day riders are also welcome. Owners Kent and Dawn Thomas welcome riders to their property, which was once part of Dawn's grandfather's farm, and the place where Dawn first remembers sitting on a horse.
Do you remember the first time you ever rode a pony?
Yes.
Tell me.
I was with my granddaddy, and I shouldn't remember it when I was that young, but I was just barely old enough to sit up by myself. I was speaking at 9 months, which wouldn't surprise you. But yes, I did. He put me up on a horse with him, a paint horse, a lot like the one I had after that.
Stuck with you?
Absolutely. What my mother says is I haven't been off since.
You talked about riding with your grandfather. Did he ride horses a lot?
Yes, he had cattle and rode horses.
There's got to be a story of how you and Kent decided to open this business. Tell me about that.
I think just because I've always loved horses since I was a kid, rode, worked at camps growing up, and taught lessons, certified instructor from 19. And it's just what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to be with horses, do with horses, be with people. And when we moved back here to my grandfather's land, I just wanted to be able to share the trails that we have with other people, because not everybody have the access to be able to go and ride.
This is one of the rare places people can ride where it's all private trails. Don't have to have government permits and all that type of thing. Do you realize how important that is? Do people tell you how important it is?
Sometimes they'll say that, but I find a lot of people don't realize how much those lands are dwindling. And I tell them how much I'm grateful to be able to have landowners that will give us the option to be able to ride on their land.
Kent, tell me about the trails for people who are thinking about maybe they'd like to come down here.
The trails, there's a lot of variety. There are some big wide open trails. There's some nice woods trails. It's very sandy, so you don't have to shoe your horses if you don't want to. There are some hills. There's some challenging places, but there's also just a lot of really restful, beautiful trails that you can just relax and have a great time with. So we're very proud of our trails, very proud, and we love sharing it.
Lots of river crossings.
Yeah, river crossings.
Hardwoods, longleaf pine, a little of everything. Anybody could ride here. The creek crossings are sandy on the bottom, they're hard on the bottom. We do have them marked across so that people kind of have an idea if they're out without somebody that's been here. They can look across and see the flagging so they'll know which direction to ride. Anybody can ride here.
What are you most proud of here at Trails Etc.?
I think I'm most proud of the fact that we have an atmosphere that people feel comfortable and safe to go out and ride the trails and have the experience be whatever they want it to be on their horses, because not everybody is competitive, and some people want to just ride out and just enjoy the time and be stress-free, and this is their way to have their mental and emotional worries go away.
Tell me the schedule for this particular ride on this weekend. They're coming in middle of the week.
Middle of the week, a lot of people came in on Monday. The majority of people came in on Tuesday, and the ride Wednesday morning. We had a rode out with the group, and then in the afternoon we've got some demos for Equine Trail Sports is doing a demo so people can try out the obstacles and see how the judging is. We also have Ari Turner, who's from Cobblestone Crossing School of Horsemanship. They come and teach here about every 6 to 8 weeks and bring a camp here, and so she's going to do a lesson demo in the afternoon, do 3 students, 3 20-minute spots each.
When we come back, riders are treated to a low country boil and more at Trails Etc. in Alabama. Stay tuned. Best of America by Horseback is riding at Trails Etc. in Midway, Alabama, near Eufaula. A highlight for many riders is working with their horses to negotiate trail challenges and obstacles. Equine Trail Sports often host trail and obstacle challenges at Trails Etc. They put on an obstacle challenge clinic for our ride to let riders try each obstacle. They explained what the judges were looking for and how they would be scored if this was a real obstacle challenge event, giving each rider helpful tips.
Here we have Equine Trail Sports trail challenges about 3 times a year, and people can come in for that. We also have lessons. Ari Turner, who's from Cobblestone Crossing School of Horsemanship, they come and teach here about every 6 to 8 weeks.
Now tonight is going to be a banquet. It's a little different than some hot dogs and baked beans. Tell me about this deal.
Absolutely. We have a group coming in to do a low country boil. It's going to be an outdoor venue, a place called High Cotton, and it hasn't even opened yet to the public.
This is your event venue, brand new, High Cotton. Tell us how it came about.
We wanted to have a venue out here. We wanted a place out in the country just for family and small events. And then Dawn said that y'all were coming to do the show, and she wanted a place to have the meals, and we thought, okay, let's get it done for that.
Now the inside of the barn is just so cute.
Odds and ends. I'm a salvager.
You've got crystal chandeliers and beautiful lighting.
Everything has a story of where it came in. People would pitch in and threw me the lumber, which we used inside, and a business in town gave me all the old painted lumber, and I used that, and the vet gave me all the tin ceiling. Little of everything.
I'm excited about it. They're cooking out back. And what kind of meal are we having tonight?
We have a low country broil, so everything's going to be just thrown out, and we got desserts and all local people pitching in and doing it. So it's
Well, let's
really
go
fun.
inside and see what's going on.
Oh, it sounds great. Come on.
For people that aren't familiar with low country boil, what is it?
It's a good country throwdown. You got potatoes, onions, corn, sausage, and shrimp, or crawfish. We get it all cooked at one time. We're going to lay it out on that table, and people are going to come alongside and fill the plates. And get
This
full.
isn't your first
Second time.
Second time. Is there any way we can peek in the pot?
You can peek in that pot. It's not all in there.
That's some of it.
The main thing about a low country boil is timing. Certain things take longer to cook because if you cook everything at one time, some things will be overcooked and some things will be undercooked. And I always do one, I think about the non-shellfish eaters. So I got a pot for people who can't eat shellfish. Everything's the same. There won't be no shrimp in this one.
Well, we just send them to McDonald's. That's fine.
That's true.
We'll divide up the rest of it.
That's true.
Jeff, you forgot the main part.
Oh, this is the secret ingredient.
What's this?
It's my homemade spices. You gotta have this. That's the secret right there.
Now, if people aren't familiar with your face, they may see your name and there's a Hall of Fame somewhere, isn't there? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I spent 20 years at the marksmanship unit right up the road at Fort Benning, Georgia, and I shot on both the service rifle team and the international rifle teams while I was there. And I was fortunate enough to shoot well enough that they put me in the Service Rifle Hall of Fame right after my retirement in 2008.
As we're traveling around here in this wonderful town and we're doing this great ride at Trails, etc., there's some really interesting people that do some really neat things.
Mayor Jack Tibbs came out to welcome riders to Alabama and Eufaula and talked about area attractions riders may want to visit while they're camping at Trails, etc., like Lake Eufaula that has good fishing opportunities.
We have 2 state parks on the lake and one in our city limits, Lake Point State Park. We have an 11,000-acre national refuge right on the border of that park. We're continuing to try to improve the town and working on economic development all the time and starting a new process to get more industry here, and more jobs here.
Kristen's getting ready to get married and she wants to bring her fiance down here, and he would like to go fishing. Is there a type of lure that you'd recommend that he use on the lake there?
Well, it just so happens I have a lure company, and Rags Old Lure Company is my company.
You still enjoy getting out there fishing as much as you did when you were 6 years old or 8 years old?
Even more.
We appreciate you taking the time to come by and visit with us. And
well, these are great folks here. Anybody involved with riding horses, you know, that's just down home folks.
Mayor, I appreciate what you do for so many people.
Yes,
and
sir. Well,
you really represent what government officials ought to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
High Cotton also has a bed and breakfast, and it's just a couple of miles from Trails, etc. If you don't have a live-in horse trailer, you can stay at High Cotton B&B close by. While Tom and Kristen signed autographs, our hosts Kent and Dawn Thomas treated guests to an evening full of music. Their band is known as Valentine. We'll be back with more from Trails, etc. Stay tuned. Best of America by Horseback is riding with guests at Trails, etc. in Midway, Alabama. With over 60 miles of trails on private property, this facility is a wonderful getaway for trail riders. We hosted a midweek ride at Trails, etc. and had a great turnout. Riders were treated to a trail ride with miles of wooded trails, open farmlands, and plenty of water crossings, all sandy enough for barefoot horses. The trail ride was kicked off with 3 sisters, Lily Powell and Eleanor Balcom, singing the national anthem, with the flag proudly presented on horseback. When not out on the trails, riders had an obstacle course they could try, lesson clinics, and vendors. Seminole Feeds, a family-owned and operated horse feed company, was there supporting the trail riders.
There are a lot of feed companies out there, a lot of names, big companies, small companies, but you guys are growing rapidly. What's the reason?
It comes down to the care for horses and people. And what we want to do is we want to provide, one, quality products at a reasonable price that people can look after their horses with, but we also want to offer that service to the people to where we're not just a buy-sell arrangement. Anybody can have that. We want to have the personal touch. That's why we have outside sales reps. We have a nutrition hotline to where you can call 24 hours a day, and within 24 hours you're going to get a call back and you're going to talk to a nutritionist about your problem. So it's service, and I think that has been paid off. That's paying off in the growth we're seeing.
Is there a feed product selection here with Seminoe that will meet every level, from that gray pony who didn't know left from right to the international competition? You've got it all?
We feel like we do, because we get calls from customers who have horses that are air plants. I mean, they breathe and they seem like they start to gain weight. So we have a protein supplement that we call Equalizer. And a lot of people get scared about a high protein product, but when you only feed 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a day, it gives them their protein, their vitamins and trace minerals that they need for a horse that is a very easy keeper. But if you have a horse that you're riding 5 or 6 times a week, he's in heavy work and he needs a lot of calories because of what you're asking him to do, then we have a product called Dynasport. Both of those products are very low in sugar and starch, but they fit the needs of different horses, depending on what you're doing, what your activity level is. So the range of our products falls in between the two, but those are the two extremes.
Dawn and Kent feel extremely blessed to have volunteers and friends who help them at Trails Etc. They are all extremely helpful and knowledgeable and take care of their guests' needs. One of those friends is Christine Newbold, who has brittle bone disease and has been confined to a wheelchair since she was 6. But that hasn't slowed her down one bit. Christine loves travel and adventure, and even has her own YouTube show called Rollin' with Christine, where she shares her adventures with viewers. She also loves horseback riding, and Trails Etc. is one of her favorite places to bring her own horse and ride the beautiful sandy trails. Trails Etc. owners Dawn and Kent Thomas love sharing their farm with guests, as well as local history and attractions. Dawn's family has been in the area for 7 generations, and one of her ancestors' homes, Fendall Hall, in Eufaula, is now open to the public as a museum. Kent, Dawn, and her parents, Cy and Jean, hosted us for a reception at the house where we met Mayor Tibbs and friends of Fendall Hall.
It was built by my great-great-great-great-grandparents.
It has a big old porch all the way around, so if you had a kid with a tricycle, they can just ride all they want to ride.
Around. They call that the veranda.
The veranda.
You know what distinguishes that? If you
ma'am.
sit out on it and drink coffee, it's a porch. And if you sit out and drink a mint julep, it's a veranda. And if you don't drink anything at all, it's a darn shame. I edited that just a little bit.
50 years from now, people are going to be here sitting around a campfire one night, and they're going to be talking about Dawn and Kent, things that you did for them that other people didn't know about, and the kindness that both of you show people, which goes beyond any business formula. I mean, it's just true to the heart. What do you hope people will remember about you and say about you?
I'd hope they'd say she loved God, she loved people, and she loved horses.
What would your grandfather say?
I hope he's looking down, seeing that all the hard work he put into this place is now being enjoyed by people that are riding and doing what he loved and he taught me to love.
For more information on Trails Etc. in Midway, Alabama, log on to their website, trails-etc.com, or call them at 334-740-1336.